I was told that it will be a fireside chat. So I said, oh, that's good. I would love to have a chat. And now the master of ceremony has canceled the chat. He has called me for a talk. And now I have neither the paper for talk nor the partner for fireside talk or chat. But what I will share with you is my experience. I was born in a village. My mother had 9 children, and only 2 of us lived to adulthood. So I had that trauma in my life, or as part of my life. Then I started growing up. And the next thing that I found as I was growing up, not only the child mortality, but diseases that were ravaging in my part of the world at that time, particularly smallpox. It was deadly. Then I joined the army. And part of my experience was training in India, where inquisitively I decided to go around India, aside by my military training at the Staff College, to find out what India was doing at that time. This was in the mid-1960s, and how. So I saw a lot and I learned a lot, including what India was doing at that time in the nuclear technology with Dr. Baba, the father of Indian nuclear or atomic technology, nuclear technology. And of course, the lesson I learned from that is knowledge. When you have knowledge, nobody can take it away from you. And we need to have knowledge. Dr. Baba was killed because that time, it was thought in certain quarters in the international world that India should not have nuclear power or nuclear knowledge. But in spite of Dr. Baba's death, the knowledge that India had acquired remained, and India was able to become a nuclear power. So when I had the opportunity, I decided that knowledge, particularly scientific and technology, must be the focus for us in Africa. And I had a few exposures. Again, there was a good friend of mine, a Kenyan, Dr. Thomas Odhiambo. Thomas Odhiambo was an insect specialist as a scientist. And he set up a center for that, Kenya. And I was close to him. So I was learning, even though not a scientist, I was learning about good insects and bad insects. And on one occasion, they called a meeting of scientists. All of them were scientists except me. Why he chose to call me to that meeting, I didn't know. But I was at the meeting. And what I found was that they were all scientists. And they were talking about things that should involve not just scientists, but also politicians. And there was not one politician or incumbent politician there. So one of the things they talked about that was very important was that tilapia in Lake Victoria is becoming extinct. And they didn't know how to go about it. So I then said to them, one man who you should consult and talk to is President Julius Nyerere. He grew up on tilapia on the back of Lake Victoria, where his village was located. And they were curious and said, what can President Nyerere do about this? I said, talk to him. Well, they obeyed me and talked to him. And President Nyerere gave them, I believe, $2.5 million to work on not allowing Lake Victoria to be dried of tilapia. And it worked. So when I had opportunity to interact with Africa Academy of Sciences, and knowing what I have known and having what I have, I thought that one thing that I should do was to empower African Academy of Sciences by giving that donation of $5 million at that time to encourage. And I also said to them to make sure that they are not working in silos, but they work with those who have the power to make things happen, and those are politicians. They make things happen. They have the power to make things happen and to make them unhappen. And President Mahama will testify to that. So I believe that our knowledge, our science, our technology, our innovation should start with our stomach, food. If we can conquer our stomach and fill our stomach with what we produce, with what we manufacture, with what we process, we will be solving one important problem. Second, health. As I said, my mother had 9 children. 7 died at age between 1 week to 3 months. Third, of course, education. What can our knowledge, our technology, our science, and our innovation help us in our system of education, our putting education across to our children, and of course, education from cradle to grave. Our domestic appliances, basic things that we use in the house, how can we make our knowledge and our technology, our science, to produce them and produce them simply, cheaply, and at the prices that will be affordable. And of course, lastly, infrastructure. If we are able to take care of education, of food, we are able to take care of health in our science, technology, and innovation, and we are able to take care of education, domestic appliances, taking care of infrastructure will not be difficult. And I want to appreciate all of you who come together in science, technology, and innovation. We are not ready to go to the moon, but if we cannot go to the moon yet, let us touch our stomach. Let us and then later on, those who are on the moon, we will catch up with them. Thank you.